5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On the edge of the box is Madden. Madden trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there! Oh my word! What a goal from Paddy Madden! The Irishman strikes again! And is that the goal that's going to send Stockport County back into the Football League?
Oh, I saw the picture, so it just got me thinking of all those major world events and just his anus just there. Just the Queen dies, his
You
anus
can
is
say his
there.
name,
9/11.
You can say his name, it's fine. It's out in...
But to be fair, I wrote this before his name had come out. This is a problem when you're trying to keep up with world events. This is what happens. You try to keep on the pulse of world news, and you just end up old news within an hour. Disgusting. Yes, hello, and welcome to the Scarf for Gower, the podcast that thinks you shouldn't have to pay for smut. Subscribe now on our Patreon. I'll just put the link at the bottom there. That'd be very good. That's a good little link. Jobs are good. I don't even know where the banners are. This is why you need Russ. No Russ this week, so I've got Waggy and Ben with me to cover. For the second week in a row, we've actually got news and stuff. The news floodgates opening last Wednesday at about 6 p.m. has just been the boost we needed. We've not got to do another podcast where we have literally nothing to talk about. How are we doing, chaps? All right?
Yeah, decent, mate. Decent.
Very well.
What about you, Ben?
Having me yet again. Good to be here.
You're freshly back from Spain as well, aren't you?
You can tell by the glowing, the radiant tan, as you can tell. Gone one above kind of completely white on the Pantone chart. So
Is that why you're still? Is that why you're still under a sun lamp?
Exactly that. Until I think it popped up. Yeah. Like a cannabis.
So thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Got some regulars there in the comments and some irregulars. Don't forget to like the video on YouTube because that's what we keep getting told is important in the modern age. But what we've got to talk about tonight then, we've got the first friendly with Lincoln, we've got a behind closed doors friendly with Wolves, we've got 2 signings, one of them pretty bloody big. So let's start, shall we, with the Lincoln game. Ben, you were there. Give us your view. Give us the view on the streets, on the piazzas. No, it's not. That's Italy, isn't it?
Yeah. What do we have in? I was about to say Italy. Then, no, it wasn't Italy. It was in Spain. It's great experience. Hope we do it again. It's county for 3 days. Went over 3 days in Spain. What's not to like? There's loads of really good stuff. The game itself. Can't remember.
Yeah,
it was all right.
It's not about the football, is it? Really?
No. The first half was, I think, better than the second in terms of a game to watch. It was what I would say is probably more or less our full strength 11, certainly a full strength 8 or 9 anyway, of what you'd expect to line up on the opening day. We looked really good. Sarcevic took his goal really well. Lovely through ball from someone who I'm not entirely sure who it was. At the time, everyone said it was Gape. I think potentially it was McDonald. Finished really well. Southam Hales looked excellent. He looked knackered after about half an hour, but the half an hour up to that point, he was really, really good. That kind of, amusingly quick thing we've been used to on the sides. We passed it round well. We looked good. Stupid goal to give away. The kind of goal that we gave away at the start of last season. I don't know if we overcomplicated it, but a misplaced pass over the Hinchliffe into the goal. Second half, I think lacked a little bit of the composure and the quality of the first half. But Ethan Pye, for me, was head and shoulders above everyone. There was probably 40 odd players who played in the game because both sides pretty much put out different 11 at half time. Yeah. For me, Ethan Pye was by far the best player out of the whole setup.
Very good to hear.
Yeah, really composed. Got the ball down. He didn't. If he ever got caught out, he recovered well. He looked strong. He looked like someone who is more than ready just to slot in and will do really well at League Two. He looked great. Admittedly, it was a friendly in, wilting temperatures, and it was played at half pace and all that. But he stood out a long, long way, in a good way.
Is he playing less centre back
Southern
then?
Hales is doing well and all, because I mean, big week for Southern Hales last week. On air Wednesday night and then playing a good 45 minutes on Friday. What a week for the Southern Hales family.
Exactly. I mean, it all went downhill from Wednesday, didn't it? This is the pinnacle.
It's all going well, and then nothing's going to top this. And then I won't be surprised if he's retired by next week. It's just like nothing. I've spent 2 weeks chasing those dizzying highs that coming on.
Yeah, but no, it was great. Like I say, the game itself was a footnote in what everyone was over there for, which was a bit of a jolly in Spain. So, really nice excuse. The facilities at Pinatar were great. The fan event on the Thursday, to be fair, was, I think, the players come out and it was a bit awkward because they all just kind of shuffled out like, oh, what do we do now? But then they soon got mobbed by quite a few who were over there signing shirts, loads of kids who were having pictures with them, which was great to see. There was some staff on hand from the club. Tom Marn, the COO, was over there, Olivia. Good to have chats with those, like good, meaningful chats. I think, I've been quite ready in the past to vocalise some concerns about some of the club's doings. So I think it's only fair to say that, that was really good. So credit there. Only thing I would say is that if we're going to do it next year, which I hope we do, just give us more notice. Announce it in January. I understand the reasons why we didn't do it this year. I believe, and I hope I'm not giving too much away here, I believe it was just going to be a training camp. And then the opportunity for a game came up last minute, which is why we suddenly said, fans, come over if you want to, rather than just come and watch us train. There's not really much of an appeal in that. But if we're going to do it next year, absolutely get it announced at Christmas, give people the opportunity to save up, put some money aside and all that kind of thing. And, got chatting to Preston were over there the day before us. I was chatting to a Preston fan on the plane, and they said there was 1,200 of them, and they were playing a Gibraltar pub team, but we still took 1,200 over. So it'd be good if we could do something similar.
I'd absolutely love that. From speaking to Southern Hales last week, he went to Belgrade when he was with Fleetwood on a pre-season trip.
Oh, nice.
I think we should go for something like that, shouldn't we? See, we're getting into our Europa Conference League territory again.
Yeah. Oh, for me, if I'm picking a pre-season trip, it's probably like the Caucasus, like Georgia, Armenia. Really go off the fringes of the Europa Conference League is where I want to be for pre-season. Yeah,
the type of place where you can go early July and possibly see some like European football.
Exactly.
You'll probably get to see some sort of qualifier or something, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's quality. Yeah, it seems. I looked at a few of the Lincoln forums. Like, obviously, they didn't take as many fans over there as we did, but it all seems to be in stark contrast from how we were setting up. We had the whole event for the fans and everything. The players were mingling, and there's just nothing of that with Lincoln, nothing whatsoever.
Well, I don't know for definite. There certainly wasn't where we were on either of the days. We had the fans event on the Thursday evening and the game on the Friday. There was the odd kind of, I think there was like a Preston fan knocking about, maybe someone in a Spurs shirt. So I assume they were just local and had come over. Bored Waggy's gone. But no, it was good. It was really good. Really nice few days. Hope we do it again soon.
Be lovely, that one. That'd be absolutely ace. And then obviously, so we had the guessing game with the Trialists, which is why I don't tend to go to pre-season games, because that part of it, I spend half the game on Wikipedia, looking up these obscure players who've been released by Charlton or whatever. Yeah. But it does seem as though it's a left back who was at Charlton last. Rowan McDonald and Dominic Gape seems to be agreed. They're the three names.
Yeah, there was whispers of was it Carney? The keeper was over there as well.
Carney, yeah, who was now not gone for.
Yes, Ethan Ross was there, but didn't play. Hinchliffe played the full 90 minutes. There was, again, I wouldn't know Carney if I fell over him. So whether he was there or not, I don't know. Ethan Ross definitely was. There was a suggestion he pulled up in training or something. He was hobbling or limping a little bit, but I wouldn't be, given the news today, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Ethan Ross termination tweet in the next few hours, really.
not in like a Logan's runway, but in a
no, he's not like Simon Wilson's now, like some like executioner just dispatches people in the Carrington boardroom. Yeah.
Well, as we found out on last week's show, in what was another, it was a show like packed with exclusives last week, and another one was that Ethan Ross only found out the day before they were flying that he was going because Bobby Jones had got injured. So I would suggest that, along with not playing a minute over there, I would suggest.
Yeah, the fact that he wasn't booked on at the same as Quigley. Quigley's, by all accounts, I think it's been suggested he's been at Carrington, but was, he obviously wasn't in Spain. So it doesn't sound like he's featuring any plans for next season. I would imagine Ethan Ross is in the same boat. But good, which, is a shame for both of them. Hope they do well. But interesting to see Crankshaw featuring so heavily. I think he looked like...
Very much so.
He looked like Ollie Crankshaw on Friday. So very lively, kind of, in a good way, kind of slightly aggy and slightly angry in that kind of way that he plays. Taking people on, shooting at will, which is, I think, what Crankshaw offers. People talk about, he needs a little bit more end product or a bit more composure and all of that. And I think maybe, he probably doesn't. He'd probably say himself he could do with scoring a few more goals. But I think you don't want to coach out that little bit of, in a good way, that little bit of that wild card out of him, because then you've just got another sideways pedestrian footballer. I think what he offers is something that we were missing at the end of last season.
Absolutely, that's something a bit different. Yeah, it is that unpredictability. That's exactly it. I think because this time last year we were trying to make him into a second striker, and that's obviously not come off. And now it's right wing back by the looks of it. So God knows what it could be this time next year.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see an awful lot of him. Again, I'll be completely honest. I wasn't kind of stood there with me pen and notepad like Hedgie would be, kind of watching the game. I was kind of, had my mind on other things. But I didn't see an awful lot of him as a right wing back. He seemed to be a lot more going forward, and I don't know. Is he a right wing back? I don't know. Well, if we've got Noyle and Southam Hales fit, I don't know if we need to be playing Crankshaw in that kind of position. For me, his strengths would lie going forward and being that nuisance that he can be. The other thing that we spoke about when we were over there was the possibility of whether we could see Southam Hales and Noyle in the same lineup, with Southam Hales furthest over and Noyle almost playing the same role as Akil Wright did last year.
Well, that moves us on nicely to the behind closed doors game with Wolves yesterday, because Noyle did start as right centre back in a 3 with Crankshaw as a wing back. Right. And then we switched to a 4 at the back second half, and it's Southam Hales. But I would not be surprised to see Noyle. If Southam Hales is looking as good as everyone's saying, and he's going to stay fit, then why would you not? If you can get them both in.
That's it. I think with Southam Hales, his ability and everything about him is, you can't really fault it. He's outstanding. It's just keeping him fit, and it's not even keeping him fit because he's clearly incredibly fit and he's a proper athlete. It's keeping him injury free is the challenge. That if you look over the last, I remember whenever it was, probably the start of season just gone, that I'd said that in all the games we played since he joined the club, he'd missed more than half of them through injury. I know he was suspended once or twice, but pretty much all through injury. And then he's not played since Boxing Day. So that's another half the season gone. That's a lot of games to miss. And for an integral, for what is an integral kind of important player, if we can get a full season out with him without him getting clattered into some advertising hoarding or, breaking something or other catastrophic injuries he seems to struggle with, then we've got potentially one of the best players in the division. And he's so dangerous. And I think the only good thing that Rusk pretty much did for us was that he used to kind of really employ Southam Hales' pace more than we see on the Challenger. But yeah, let's not go down that route.
Oh God, yeah, that's not. That's not. It's pre-season's no time to be talking about Steve, is it? You bring Steve up in October when you've lost a couple of games and fancy.
That's it. When you think you're stuck down here for the season, yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So in between,
when we were waiting for a taxi out to Pinatar from where we were staying, doing like local equivalent of Uber or whatever it was, they said like your taxi driver is Steve. We were like, just imagine it. This is what he's doing now, ferrying tourists around Torrevieja.
Oh God, how the mighty have fallen.
Unfortunately, it wasn't.
Even Gareth Southgate's seen through him, and he's driving taxis. It was a 1-0 win in the behind closed doors friendly against Wolves. It was obviously a side we played last season as well. But Rydell assist and a Tanto goal, which is always a very encouraging start to pre-season. I find
exactly what we saw in the Salford home game in the playoffs was a Rydell assist and Tanto header, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely lovely. Right.
Few days.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see a fair bit of Tanto this season. I think this is going to be he seems well up for it. Yeah. I know we did say the same thing on here, me and you, about Frank Mulhern when we came up into the National League, but we can be right this time. It's all right. To be fair, Mulhern was all right. But...
pinged one in from the halfway line, didn't they, in the National League? So
that was National League, Dover, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, well, he's still popping in bangers now. Every 6 months, it'll pop up on my timeline with another one.
Yeah, he's
rattled in.
Moved again. He's at Scarborough now, isn't he?
Yeah,
moved to. I always thought there was a National League player in Frank. I thought he was class, but there we go. I think Waggy's handed in his notice. He's done.
No, headphone issues. He had them when we first logged on. Oh, bloody hell. Well, you can hear more of Waggy in the Courtyard Club call with Russ when the season starts. And we've got our show. We're going to record next week. And then...
yes.
Dave Smith never existed, as we've...
well, I'm going to prove otherwise that he did exist. So
I'm not having it. You're in on it as well. I'm going full Letitia with this.
Fans of the more niche county content and trivia and those who lurk on the fringes of society, get involved because you will... enjoy it. There's a lot of unheard kind of stats, trivia, quizzes for the more discerning county fan. So
yeah,
I think the first one's actually a quiz, isn't it? We're doing a quiz.
It's gonna be a quiz.
Can we name? We can name the guest. Can you won't mind?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a name. He's not Hugh Edwards. You know, he can. His name can be used.
So he won't be able to go anywhere else, will he? We'll get Hugh on.
Yeah,
his career.
I know. I'd rather see our guests asked than Hugh Edwards, to be honest.
I don't know. I think I've seen it in a away game before. That was enough.
Well, quite possibly, yeah.
If he's not already an official friend of the show, soon to be an official friend of the show, Si Lomas will be taking part in the first ever county podcast quiz, or certainly the first ever Dave Smith Never Existed quiz. And I'll be your quiz host, and it'll be Nick getting, I would imagine, soundly thrashed by Si Lomas at some point in the coming weeks.
Yes. Yeah. That'll be. Yeah, I think we'll record possibly next week, and then it won't take long to release. So that'll be in your. Yeah. And if you want to subscribe, you can see the link across the bottom, and it is everywhere else. You can't avoid it.
Is that anyone listening can absolutely take part in. You can play along at home or work or on the bus or wherever you listen to or consume this podcast. Absolutely, it's something that is an option for you to take part in as well, and see how you fare against Nick or Simon.
Audience pass. So, we're going Simon now. It's like Andy Cole when he wanted to be taken more seriously. So so in between the Lincoln and Wolves games, we I think it's fair to say marquee signing. Would you not agree, Nick Powell?
Yeah, absolutely. It's again, it's one of those, if he's fit, if everything on paper kind of falls into place, then we've probably got the outstanding player of League Two. I don't know enough about his recent career. You know, I've seen the clips of him at Crewe and know that he went to United and all that. But he's played a lot of games at a higher level in recent years. Probably not as many as he would have liked to have done. But he's played a lot of games at a good level. He's come down to us. He's still... You know, he's not 34, 35. He's still in his 20s. So if we get that player, hopefully he is what we hope him to be and not another Adam Hamill. You know, he's probably the last comparable big name, not quite as big as Nick Powell, but remember when he was signed in September 2019, we were all looking at the videos of him scoring screamers at Wembley from like 40 yards and thinking, bloody hell, we've got someone special here. I think he played like 3 or 4 games, scored a goal at Trafford in a friendly, and that was it. I never saw him again.
It was about the size of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it to you that in true football cliches fashion, actually, because I know you're a listener as well.
Yeah.
Nick Powell is I'm trying to think how to phrase this now. Of all the big summer signings we've made, he gives off the most picks up a knock before the first game of the season and starts the season on the bench energy.
Yes, I think he does. Who else? Have we got anyone else who fits in that bracket of? It's basically like our Darren Anderton.
Yeah. All summer, so excited to see this guy put on the county shirt, and he gets 10 minutes in a defeat at home to Gillingham on the first day.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I don't know if he's got a bad injury record or if he's, has he been clobbered and he's kind of been out for 6 months, or does he play 3 games and he's out for 2? I don't know.
No.
Hopefully it comes off. Hopefully he's a good player. Hopefully he's not constantly in the physio room. So we will see. Yeah, someone in the might be saying there he played 25 for Stoke last season. It's that thing that we said this about. You think of those kind of really talented special players we've had, like Adam Hamill, I suppose. But the main one I always think of is Adam Proudlock. That people, I say this. Every county fan says this. Peter Ward said this. That on his day, he was a championship player, and he was undoubtedly. Problem is, his day was once every 10 or 12 games, and it's great when that comes off, when they're in the mood, but if they're not in the mood, you can't afford to carry them for 10 games out of every 12. Yeah. That's the thing we had. People say that on his day. That's a kind of a big asterisk of he's great, but there's also some underlying problem somewhere. So hopefully,
it's similar to what we had with Niall Bell, albeit for very different reasons. We should. I'm not suggesting going down the road far that was.
No, I nearly gave something away about the quiz then, but I'm not going to. So
don't no. let them keep him on the hook, mate.
Yeah.
If they know it all, they'll all just go, won't they?
Should we have a question, Nick? Would you like a bit of trivia for our listeners? See if anyone gets this right.
Let's do it. And I'm gonna use my jingle that I use for my Arctic Monkeys podcast when we have a quiz question. Let's do it. I'm in charge.
That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question.
That's gonna catch on. That
like it. Time for the bonus question. So, listeners and Nick, we have signed a new keeper today, I believe, from Forest, Mr. Smith. Question is, answer in the comments, and I'll be very impressed if anyone gets all of the names. And in fact, if you do get all of the names, I don't believe you that you've clearly looked this up, because there's a couple which are almost completely unobtainable. So please name all of the keepers who have been on the bench behind Ben Hinchliffe in a competitive game. So National League North, National League, FA Trophy, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and League Two, not the Senior Cup. So all of the keepers who have been on the bench behind Ben Hinchliffe since the start of 2016-17, please. There's a couple of really obvious ones. I'll give you Ian Ormson. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But I won't give away the total number yet. So there we go. If anyone gets it, I'll be very impressed. Don't look.
I'm wondering if I should just hit you with the most obvious ones that I can think of.
Let's eliminate 3 of them.
So, Yaros. Obviously, we've said Ormson, Ethan Ross, and Ashby Hammond, whichever one of the Ashby Hammond brothers it was.
Luca Ashby Hammond.
Dane Smith. Did he make it onto the bench for one of them?
He did.
Or was he just
Dane Smith did.
Behind us?
He made it on. Yeah, in fact, Dane Smith was with us as early as 2011-12 when we first dropped into the Blue Square Premier. Then disappeared.
That is mental.
And then I assume he came back. I assume he wasn't with us the whole time, and then came back. But yeah,
because we would have had the.
Someone's asked.
Who was number one when we had Hermer? Was Ormson number one then?
Well, it's Ormson and King.
King, that was it.
King. And O'Donnell. No, well, not O'Donnell. O'Donnell was 12, 13 when we dropped. Yeah, it was King and Ormson and a little bit of Glennon. Comments, Dean Henderson, no, that was 15, 16. Was under Jim, but Hinchliffe wasn't at the club then. Arrestado, no, that was under the Young, or maybe the start of Jim, end of Young, but either way, it was 15, 16. Hinchliffe wasn't.
Yeah, it was,
club. Yeah. So,
someone said Brown. Who's Brown?
Brown.
Yeah, someone said Yaros, Luca Ashby-Hammond, Brown, Ormson. Forgot the others. Brown.
If there is a Brown, I've not got it on my list. Not to say it's not right, but I haven't got a Brown. We've obviously James Brown at right back. I can't think of another.
I can't think of one.
Brown in recent times. Fitzsimmons is one. Ross Fitzsimmons. We got him from Boston. Later went to Weymouth and Chesterfield.
And just signed for Scunthorpe this summer.
Yeah. Josh Barnes, correct, is one. Don't think he plays anymore. Posts a lot on Instagram with his dog.
Oh, God.
A lot. So
he's doing well for himself.
Follows me on Instagram, but that's about it. That's all I know with that. Josh is saying there's a Brown.
No one else. This might have been Josh just imagining this, because no one else is. People are coming up with some comprehensive list here, and there's no one called Brown in any of them.
So Yaros, yes. Bobby Jones, Ian Ormson, Ashby Hammond, Ethan Ross, Ross Fitzsimmons, Josh Barnes. Yes. So there's only one more actually that hasn't been named, which I didn't think we'd get to this point so quickly. If anyone comes with it now, then they've looked it up.
Yeah. I genuinely, I mean, there's some there that I'd completely forgotten. So the chances of getting this one, I'd forgotten Bobby Jones.
It was one substitute appearance. Well, not even an appearance. He was on the bench once. This guy.
See, this is just. Was it alone or?
He was on the bench once.
This is horrible. I wish I had some like generic quiz music to put underneath it. Some generic dramatic quiz.
Should we move on and come back to that? Let people guess.
See if anyone gets that. Yeah. That's going to be good. That. Yes, Nick Powell. We were on. It's one of them. If he's available for the same percentage of games he was for Stoke, and he can impact those games, then it's a great signing.
Yeah. Where is he going to? Who does he replace? Could you assume he's in the 11? He's not come to sit on the bench or play 1 in 4 if he's fit. So, you got the midfield axis, Crowsdale, Collar, Sarcevic, I suppose, is the classic 3.
Yeah.
You've also got Hippolyte, you've got Evans. I mean, you'd see Powell going in ahead of both of those, I suspect.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't win games. I know he's not the same player, the same position, but we don't win games without Ryan Crowsdale. We don't win games. The Salford home game, playoff, which we didn't. Did we win? No, I suppose we won that in 90 minutes. So, did we? Yeah, we won it one. Did we? Yeah, we must have.
We won 1-0 up at full time, and then
yes. So that would count as a win. I think that's pretty much the only. Maybe like one of only 2 games we've won where Crowsdale hasn't started since Jim was manager.
Yeah, which is just absolutely bonkers. Yeah. That's the type of stuff you're going to get on the podcast. That's the type of niche stuff you're going to get on the spin-off podcast. That is. I think
it was Bromley away in December 2020. We won 2-0. Crowsdale didn't start, and then we didn't win again the rest of that season without Crowsdale starting. He started every game in the title season, so. Didn't count. There may have been one at the start of season just gone. We won without him starting, but generally, if Crowsdale doesn't start, we don't win. So,
right, yeah. I just hope we don't do the yearly attempt to phase him out before finding out, because we'll be in we'll be playing a fair bit of catch up if we do that this season. A lot of people suggesting we might see Powell up front as well. Might see him up top while Wootton's out.
But then what what about when Wotton's back?
Well, that's it. He's going to have to. Are we banking on Sars, Collar, and Powell? Like one of them constantly being injured, so to make the decision a bit easier.
Possibly. I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? We've got, it's a great position. It's always that thing. It's a nice headache for the manager to have and all that. But is it an unnecessary headache for the manager to have that we've got potential? Because I say I don't imagine he's a Crowsdale kind of defensive midfielder kind of thing. So then you have got currently Sarcevic, Collar, Powell, Hippo, Evans, a little bit wider. You've got kind of Crankshaw, Rydell, all of them occupying that slightly advanced midfield space. Admittedly, Rydell and certainly Rydell's going to go further back, but yeah, then you got Madden. There's a lot of talk about him becoming almost like a number 10 and dropping back.
Yeah.
You got Tanto, who you think would be that, he's not going to do that as much. I've no idea how it's going to play out. And I just worry, is it going to be, we don't really know where we're going to accommodate him. Yeah, sorry, in the comments as well, Callum Camps as well.
Yeah, but that's it. That says it all about the issue we've got there. Is we've not even mentioned Callum Camps.
Yeah.
Like,
Callum Camps is regarded by many, certainly outside of the club, as a League One midfielder. Yeah. And we've just spent 5 minutes talking about our midfielder, not even mentioned him. Yeah. So
yeah, it's absolutely mad. I know it's common to say, it's a nice problem for the managers to have. If I was a manager, I wouldn't like that problem. Bloody horrible having to ruin someone's day. Oh God. And these are all professional footballers who are used to playing as well, who are like leaders.
And that's it. It's which way do you look at it? Because if we start with Collar, Crowsdale, and Sarcevic, and then we've got Powell, Hippo, Evans, and Camps on the bench to bring on, then that's pretty impressive. Maybe we don't have a 3. We have this kind of fluid 6 or 7 who are all interchangeable, and maybe. I think certainly those days of having a strongest 11 for me feel quite outdated. You might have a kind of strongest key 4 or 5, that kind of classic spine, but beyond that, it all become, you've got multiple players who can slot in and play alongside each other, and they all offer something different, which is what we want. Just going back to some of these keeper answers. Danny Hurst, no, he'd gone. He left in 2015-16. Josh Schofield is a good shout, but I don't think he's ever featured on the bench. I think he was always third choice. He may have featured in a trophy game last season. No, because Ethan Ross played in them. Hinchliffe played in Ethan Ross. So I'm going to say no, but if it is Josh Schofield, then there's someone else I'm thinking of.
Excellent. I don't think we're going to get to the bottom of this one. I don't think anyone's going to get this by the end. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. Right, before we get on to our next signing, I'll play the little whatchamacallit.
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbagarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.
So another problem position got sorted today, as we've got let's be honest, sub-goalkeeper. Talking of sub-goalkeepers, I think we've found our one for the next season.
Someone's been on Leo's data file, haven't they? Alex Gorst, 1 sub-appearance in a 4-0 defeat at Bournemouth, September 2019. I assume.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I'm assuming that is. I know who that. The guy who's posted that. I think I know who that is. I'm not having that. You know that. I'm not having it.
Yeah, we'll talk about him after we've gone on there.
Yeah,
that's what we normally do with them all. Yeah. So yes, so subkeeper sorted. Formerly of Forest and just left.
Yep. Doesn't sound like he's played a huge amount of games, not just at Forest, but anywhere. If he's a number 2, happy days. We know we need a number 2 by all accounts. If Ross is, if he is going, but we've got. I hope we don't do what we've done over the last 2 seasons, where we start with, well, I hope we do start with Ben. I hope what we don't do is the second he kind of is perceived to make a mistake or cost us, we throw him out and we pretty much bring in someone who isn't as good. We did it. Rusk did it under, in September. We lost 3-0 at Halifax. We were an absolute shambles that day. One of the worst county performances in a long, long time. Even, accounting for the dark days in the north. And he drops Hinchliffe, which was a complete mistake. He comes back in 6 weeks later, and we never look back. Did it last season. We conceded 5 in the first 2, but I don't know. I think Ben has got so much. No one is undroppable. Nobody should have their place forever. But if we're getting to the point where we're dropping players after, making 1 or 2 mistakes, then we're changing the team every single week, because every single player in our team makes mistakes every game because they played in the 4th tier of English football. Players in the Premier League make mistakes every single game. It's been proven time and again, if we take Ben out of the team, we are worse off. When Ben comes back into the team, we are better off with him in it. He would have to have a catastrophic kind of hit in form or have an injury for him to lose his place for me. And a catastrophic loss in form isn't conceding 2 poor goals at home to Gillingham. It's a sustained period of mistake after mistake after mistake, which he has not done in the previous 7 seasons of almost playing every single game. So he's got to be our number 1. If we're going to go out and sign Alisson from Liverpool, yeah, fair enough. He's better than Hinchliffe. Bring him in. I think everyone would agree with that. But I'm not. Ben's got to be our number 1. It's got to be.
What would you say we're looking for in the market now? Otherwise, you'd expect the 2 midfielders, McDonald and Gate, to be announced, which gives us even more problems midfield wise.
I think if that happens, you've got to be looking at least 2 of them going, even on loan.
Yeah.
And you would probably, and I like him, and I think he's got a lot to offer, but you do kind of fear for Evans. I think that he would, we're not going to send Collar out on loan. Potentially we could sell Collar, but he's certainly not going to send him out on loan. We're not going to send Sarcenik out on loan. I wouldn't have thought, unless is he in the final year of his deal?
Final year.
Potentially he's got a kind of a agreement with somebody or other. Come on loan for a year, then we'll buy you. There was talk that MK Dons were in for him, but I still can't see that. So you would think someone like Evans would go out on loan. If we bought Powell in, where does that leave Camps? We kind of split opinion last season as to whether he was as effective or as dynamic as he could be. He was tidy, but was he the one who kind of did that Collar and Sarcenik role in the National League of making things happen? Probably not enough for me. So he could be one at risk. So, but I've no idea. Maybe we're going to announce 2 new midfielders, and we've got 3 of them ready to leave the club next week. Yes. I can't see how we can accommodate 2 new midfielders and nobody else going.
I mean, in terms of players that don't have to be registered as well, is it? I mean, obviously Stretton would be one of them, which is that's a no-go. There's no point registering him because he's not going to play this season. Then does Rydell still count as?
He's got to be Rydell. He's been like 21 for about the last 4 years, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's got the Jesse Lingard syndrome, hasn't he?
Like Benjamin,
not the shit dancing. Yeah.
I mean, Benjamin.
We got what is your area of expertise? Kits this week.
Yes, I do. I like
the long-awaited kits. Yeah, they're good, aren't they?
They're good. I've got a lot of them. I bagged a couple of new ones this week as well, actually. In fact, I'm going to be shameless now, but I'm going to say I've got 2 new ones. I've got Stuart Barlow's long sleeve 0405 home shirt, which is nice if you're into that kind of thing. And also Callum Camp's 3rd shirt from last season. I will be getting my hands on in a few weeks once it arrives with the sponsor. So on that note, in the spirit of that, if anyone listening does have any match worn or player issue county shirts from any year, either from the season just gone or any season at all, and they would like to weigh them in, or even just get an offer on them so we know what they're worth, hit me up, County Shirts on Twitter, and I will probably end up giving you a lot of money for some shirts. So do it. Pay for your holiday.
Yeah.
Pay for your ticket that you can't buy anymore. Pay for a new shirt.
Pay for your trip to Belgrade next season.
Exactly. It's all here. Just hit me up and I will take them because I've not got enough. I have got enough. Yeah.
Never enough. We should probably rank the 3 shirts this season then. Rank.
Yeah. Kits or shirts?
Well, see, yeah, this is it. It's almost 2 separate discussions. Let's go shirts to start with, because the kits will never be spot on because I'm just waiting for amber socks, and it's not going to happen.
My least favourite, and that's not to say I don't like it, but my least favourite is the away shirt, the
same
peppermint, as they call it. It's a keeper shirt. It's a keeper shirt. Said this last week. It's a keeper shirt. That is my least favourite. But I do like that as a kit with the black socks. So
yeah,
I don't really have a strong opinion either way about the home and the third. I like them both. I like the yellow against the black rather than gold. I think that looks really good. I'm going to say the black because I think what the home one suffers from is the same as the home one from the season just gone, is that it's only the front. You don't get the pattern on the back.
Yeah.
If the pattern repeated on the back, and it wasn't just kind of sewn onto a plain blue panel, then, from behind, it looks exactly the same as the shirt from the season just gone. So I am going to say the black third one is my favourite, followed by the home, followed by the peppermint away.
I'd go the same way.
And then the keeper shirts.
By the sounds of it, it's the same in the club shop as well, because I think the medium of the black one is pretty much sold out now.
Yeah, it's gone, which I'm not surprised about at all. Hopefully we can get some more in before
I hope so.
February, like last season.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Keeper shirts come out today, hasn't it, on Smith's unveiling thing. It's the same. I think we said this a few weeks ago. It's the same keeper shirt that pretty much every club who have got Puma have got this season. It's kind of a chevron in, like, it's sublimated chevron kind of thing, green with a slightly darker green chevron. It's nice, but it's exactly the same as what City and whoever else have got Puma have got. Arsenal. Have Arsenal Puma still? I think they are, aren't they?
I think they are, yes. Yeah. It'd be nice. That'd be a nice next step when it comes to the kits, actually, having like proper bespoke, unique goalkeeper kits.
Go back to the 90s ones.
Well, I can't think of one. 95, 96 is the last one I can think of that was like properly. Oh no, there was a Adidas one, the yellow and black one, a few years later as well.
The checkerboard we wore at Main Road.
Yes.
When Angel went in goal. Yeah, we had that.
That's the one.
We had this awful kind of purple and green with almost like oyster shell print that season as well.
Yes, we did.
Gray wore it a few times. And then since then, what did we have? Patrick. No, in fact, the Patrick ones were brilliant. We had 6. There was slight. Here we go. Putsy's.
Here we go. Now you're talking.
So we had Patrick from 99 till 2002, and I think we had 6 different colours over the kits, but they were slightly different. 3 of them one template, 3 of them slightly different template. But we had a blue, a green, and a yellow of one design, and a pink as well. I think we had a pink one, which Carlo Nash wore at Wimbledon and Norwich, perhaps. And then we had an orange one. And then James Spencer came on Norwich after 30 seconds when Dibble was sent off, last game of 01-02. He made his debut, came on, he was 16. And he basically wore what looked like a training jumper. It was like this grey thing, no sleeve patches or anything. Don't even think it had a crest on it. It was just like Robinson's best bitter. So yeah, the Patrick ones were good. The Patrick one, TFG were just dire. Everything else since then's been catalogue fodder, really, hasn't it? I think.
Do you prefer a long sleeved or a short sleeve keeper?
I want long sleeve. I want heavyweight fabric. I want patch. I want the big kind of pads sewn in shoulders, elbows. I want kind of sticky bits of whatever to make the ball stick to me. It's got to be at least 4 sizes too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want Campos USA 94. That's what you want.
Yeah, don't wear a slim-fitting, short-sleeve shirt. No, pads, have it all. I've got Alan Ogley's keeper shirt from 67, and it is like it's a thick wool, like a woolen jumper. It's a really thick, heavy thing, and how we ever played in that, especially when it rained.
Oh God, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Heavy ball, heavy shirt.
Yeah.
So what the negative thing I wanted to bring up about the kits?
I do think with the kits that I think the club have done a good job with them. I think that if you think since kind of the post Vita or Vita onwards ones, the first season were a travesty, just catalogue fodder. They've got progressively better since then. I think these are the strongest set that they've had. I've said I'm not a huge fan of all this. Let's hark back to some thing in the past and kind of give it.
The whole bump that's written with it just got right on my
No, like let's create something new. Let's do something which we can look back on in 30 years' time that is new and innovative and exciting, rather than constantly harking back to something. I know that's kind of what everyone does and what every brand does and all of that, but I'd like us to do something new and innovative. We haven't necessarily done that with this season's home shirt, but as a hark back to something, it's done well. I've said for years and years and years, all our best shirts have had red on them, and I stand by that. All of them, every shirt we've ever had, which has been really strong, has had red on them. For some reason, we've avoided red for this weird, made-up, non-existent rivalry with United that we don't have. I'm really glad to see that we've got red back on our shirts. And if we're not going to use amber or yellow, which we should be doing, then red is the next best thing. As a kind of accent colour, it sets the kits apart brilliantly. If we'd used it last year on the home shirt, subtly, that could have been a throwback to 93, 94's.
Yeah.
Actually, there was enough there. So I'm glad we're using it again this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with football shirts now. 'Cause it seems like they're at a bit of a crossroad. That the 90s thing has been milked now. Like Arsenal have redone their kits from the 90s, and it's like, well, where are you going to go now? It's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea have gone like late 90s with their new one, and it just doesn't look right. I don't know.
I've seen this. It's like, how is it? They've called it like hello to the 90s and all the marketing bump. How is it a 90s shirt? It's plain blue with like an iridescent crest. It's like, that's not 90s. What's 90s about it? There's nothing 90s about it.
It looks like when you see like a shit drama from the 90s and it's set around a football team in a particular episode, and it's just a generic kit that they put on because they don't want to advertise or anything. It just looks like that. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's
like
kind of
you get on Pro Evo.
Kind of shirt you get on a greetings card, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Yeah. Someone doing one of them greetings card headers.
Yeah.
You only see on a greetings card.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely. Now, I get the 90s, it's cool and all that kind of stuff, but come on, let's create something new. Let's create something that, in 30 years' time, our kids are going to want to recreate and look back on, rather than us constantly looking backwards ourselves.
Do you think there's anything to be gained from getting fans to design them? Is that something you get on board with, as we discussed last week?
Getting fans to design them, if the fans have suitable knowledge and expertise.
Well, it wouldn't be. It'd be in my imagination. It'd be just a competition aimed at children, but I'd take it really seriously.
No. I think what would be great, and this is something that I do think. I'm sure the club love my feedback, so they can have a little bit more now. There is opportunity, I think, for the club to consult more with the fans, other than the stadium stuff, which has gone very, very quiet. I don't think there's been any consultation really on anything since Vita took over. We've got a lot right. The courtyard's been great, the stadium expansions and all of this. There's been some stuff which hasn't gone down too well, and admittedly they've kind of rode back on it and rectified it. But I do just think there's some stuff which just ask the fans what they want. It's not a sign of weakness. It's research. There's loads of good value and there's loads of goodwill to be gained from it. and that's not to say that has to be a certain group of people or a certain individuals or whatever. There's 5,000 season ticket holders who I'm sure would all, and a lot of them would happily offer an opinion. I know we gob off on air and on Yellow Board and everything, which is a source of feedback, and undoubtedly they do take stuff on board from there and from here and all of that. But I just think some kind of meaningful consultation on stuff would be worthwhile. But in terms of kits, I don't think. I mean, it's a kind of a nice thing, or get like your 6-year-old to send in a picture of the kit. But if it's anything like my 6-year-old, 5-year-old, shit. So it's like, that's good. So, but I do think, there are people within the fan base and who have got those ideas, have got that expertise, and have got that kind of knowledge to do stuff. And I remember, I think it was when, for the 06-07 kits, we had a shortlisted down to like 4 or 5, and the fans got a vote on it, and we ended up with that chest band one. And I think at the time the vote was a little bit rigged because whoever it was at the time was like trying to dictate which one we had, and the vote was a bit of a sham. But why not do something like that? Why not have some kind of fan consultation? It doesn't have to be on the home shirt, on an away shirt, or something, a pre-season shirt or something. That feels like the fans have got a little bit of ownership on something.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I think I'm just, my one piece of advice, if there had been a consultation thing, would have been no more fluorescent shirts. So I'm very happy to have moved away from that. I was very bored of the whole fluorescent third shirt thing.
Yeah, we've just done it. We've done it too many times now. So let's like I say, let's try and do something new. That would be my wish for next season's shirts. And that doesn't have to be, totally reinventing the wheel or anything. I'm not asking to have like zips on the shirts or anything stupid like that. But let's just try and create something that's genuinely new and exciting with the shirts. That's not to say these ones I think they've done a really good job with these new shirts. I do like them, but I'd like us to look forward now rather than looking backwards.
Do you think we're going back to our correct shade of blue now as well? I've pinpointed it to dropping out the championship. We had the Patrick shirt, and then we went to TFG and went to a lighter blue and never really came back. Yeah,
we did. We did go. We dropped. Yeah, that Patrick home shirt 0102, which is the shirt we wore when Hardiker scored the 2 goals against City. If anyone's not sure, so it's all blue, big broad white band down the sleeve. For me, is one of our best ever home shirts. Really smart, really simple. It's just classic. It's great. Shame it's associated with such a dog shit team, but
it's associated with a bunch of kids who couldn't fill it as well.
Yeah,
which makes it look worse. Yeah.
Andy Welsh
like
someone else's PE kit.
Yeah.
But I think that was a strong blue. If you line up all the shirts from then to now, essentially, the variation in them is just ridiculous because we've been stuck with, whatever shade of blue Joma or Nike or Umbro offer from the catalogue. If we do have a county blue, then let's just, whatever it is, let's decide on it and let's be consistent with it, and let's make sure that is the same blue we use every season, rather than having this kind of really pissy, watered down kind of identity, which is what we've had for the last 20 years because we've been so inconsistent and had no control over the shirts. That one, basically the TFG shirt that Casual Co did for us, the white chest band one, the 06-07 9-game unbeaten run shirt, is probably a true county blue. It's that slightly darker than royal blue. It's not like a navy. It's got quite a lot of depth to it. That for me is probably, that and the Patrick one you mentioned, are probably the truest form of county blue, I think. And funnily enough, the 06-07 shirt, which many, many people love, done in conjunction with fans who are in that business and know what they're doing. And so there we go.
A shirt that people still go on about today. Something in that, definitely. I'll crack a bit of admin out before we wrap up. So the club, I don't know why I'm pushing club stuff, but fans forum. So any questions that you don't get answered in the chat bar on here, which is, let's face it, all of them, because Russ looks at them more than I do. Russ looks at them and puts little stars next to him for which ones he's going to bring up. I just forget all about it. Just my mind runs away with me. So yeah, there's a fans forum at the start of the season. Chance to ask your questions to who is it? Is it Vaughan, Wilson?
Wilson, Challoner, Ken Knott, and Tom Mann, the new well, he's not new. He's been there about 6 months now. The COO, who was out in Spain.
I mean, obviously, people are going to have big ideas about asking certain things, and then they won't turn up, and it'll just devolve into weird questions.
Second one in a row. I'm on holiday for. Swear they do it when I'm away. It's not me being a gobshite in real life, as well as online.
So now I'm going to have to go and ask what Mark Stott's favourite game was or something, aren't I?
Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah, great question.
Oh my god! Also in admin, Penno Draws has got a fantastic set of the first in his little county legend badges. The first one's out tomorrow night at 7, and it's Big Kev. So, I mean, I'm sure people have had a nightmare trying to get Taylor Swift tickets this week. So that I can guarantee that will be an easier process. I've seen people in tears this week on buses, like trying to get Taylor Swift tickets. I'm not allowed within 500 feet of her, so it don't really apply to me anyway. But
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about that, but
no, she gives me the creeps, Ben. She really does give me the creeps. I can't work out why.
Well, I'm sure you give her the creeps a lot more than she gives you the creeps.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Oh, just give me that chance. Give me that chance. What else is going on? Yes, so all our stuff, we have got stuff on Patreon that we've already told you about. £3 a month gives you access to all that, as well as early access to the podcast. It'll go up. You can still watch it on YouTube for free. It'll go up on Patreon in about half an hour's time, and then Friday at 6 a.m. it comes out and everything else. So that's good to know. Right, thank you, Ben, for joining. Oh, actually, there's something I wanted to pick your brains about, because I think I saw a few people mentioning it on Twitter. Has the sponsorship thing changed? Has it changed this season, or was it last season it changed? Because I think you've sponsored in the past, haven't you? So you might.
The play. I mean, in terms of sponsoring a player.
Yeah, because I've seen a few people whinging that they don't have the end of season due anymore.
Yeah, it's we got an email about it yesterday or the day before from Olivia. So last season, was it 295 £295, I think it is. And you get a player worn shirt of the player you sponsor. Various, you get your name on the scoreboard if your player scores, name in the program, and I think there was some kind of end of season sponsors due, something like that. There may be something else minor, but generally that. And then the sponsors due was cancelled for end of the close season we're in now, which I don't think went down too well, because there wasn't, at the time, there was no kind of offer of, as a apology, we're going to give you X, Y, and Z. It was just like, it's cancelled, sorry, nothing we can do, kind of thing, which I don't think went down too well, and wasn't great. Since then, so the emails come out about renewal, and I think as a compensation for that being cancelled, sponsors have been offered a corporate for the Preston friendly on the 29th of July, which I can't make, by the way, club. So if you want to offer me one for a league game, happy to accept that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Even a midweek game would be great. Happy to do a 2-course buffet. And then I think as a additional package this year, there's talk of a day out at Carrington, like to come and watch the players train, which might appeal for some, won't appeal for others. To be honest, I think the vast majority of people do it for the shirt. Is the main. So you're essentially paying £300 for the player's shirt. And if you think back over the last 5 years, is there any player's shirt that would sell for £300 on eBay? I'll tell you that the only one possibly that would get near that would be Paddy's from the title season, or the specific shirt Crankshaw played in against Bolton. Which obviously isn't on eBay.
Do you know who's got that? Any idea?
I do. So if you look at it that way, is it value for money? Some will say it is, some will say it isn't. do the additional perks of a day out in Carrington, I think a signed program kind of equate to 300. I don't know. Do you do it purely to get something back? Do you do it to support the club? All of that. So I'll do it again next season. I'll sponsor Ben. I'll sponsor Bell until he kind of keels over and dies. As long as he's at the club, I'll continue to sponsor Ben. So yeah, I think that's where it is now. It does seem like, I know there was a bit of a complaint and a bit of noise about it. So it does seem as if the club have responded to that noise.
Yeah.
Whether it ticks all the boxes for all the player sponsors, is to be seen. But again, I think what would have been nice, it goes back to that point I made earlier, that I've sponsored now since, I think, 2016, 2017. So certainly the whole time, the current ownership and everything's been there. Just ask us what would kind of represent a decent package for a player sponsor, and happy to give you thoughts. So yeah, but that's the new package anyway.
I want us to I want us to sign another banter player, and then I'm going to sponsor him, I think. But the thing is, you don't always know they're a banter player when they sign. That's the problem.
No,
I did with our mate Keenan.
Who's the well? Exactly, he's the most top table banter player of recent seasons.
Yeah. That was a Neil Young signing in the Vita era. That was amazing.
It was, and that he's 1-on-1 6 yard from goals, and he fucks it out for a throw-in pretty much. But that was genuinely, I talked then about Madden's shirt and Crankshaw's shirt from that season. My number one shirt from then, Keenan Dunwell-Turan. That was the first one I went after at the end of the season. I've got it. I've got that very shirt that he spooned the ball out against the Oval. That is history. That is everything, that shirt. But yeah, you don't know what you're going to get, do you? Players are announced, I think, within seconds of a press release going out. Olivia gets kind of like 7 or 8 emails from people out, let me sponsor him, let me sponsor him, let me sponsor him. So you're taking a punt. If it's someone like Paddy Madden, you're probably going to be all right. Someone like, Aaron Rowe, people sponsored it. Well, he was on the pitch less than me last season. So
yeah.
You take your chance, and some will come off, some won't.
One final thing on shirts and that sort of thing. I did notice Bradford today have announced their squad numbers for the season. Strikes me as very early. They're fully taken up to like number 29, which just knocks me a bit sick. Bit horrible, that.
Is Kyle Wotton going to be 15 for this season? He can't be.
That's why I've not got a season ticket, because I can't commit that type of money to a club that's going to give a striker number 15.
I can't think of even an attacking player we've ever had, which is a 15.
No.
I can't think of many 15s, to be honest, in our past. Because you're going back then.
Kareem Fredine is the only one I can think of.
Fredine, yeah. I can't think it would have been under Jim, who was 15. It's just such an odd number, 15.
Yeah, it's just it's not a number for any position really. I mean, striker, you're talking 9, 10, and then pretty much any prime numbers after that, I'd say.
I think it becomes acceptable in the 20s. The higher the squad number gets, it's almost like the more kind of flamboyant and exotic the player is.
Yeah. It's
good. But I can't think of any really 15. Yeah, someone in the comments, did Reigns play 15? He did in 07, 08. He was 15. But
there we go, yeah. But in terms of, obviously, we had all those years without squad numbers. So I'm trying to think who was 15 in Dietmar Hammann's team, because that'll be a horrible loss from the past, whoever that was. Ryan McCann was 16. John Nolan was 18.
Boonab? Or was he 12?
It may well have been Boonab, It might have been Boonab, I think.
No, was he 30? Don't know. I was going to go down a hole then about Michael Rains and Paul Huntington and their squad numbers in 09-10, but I'm going to save that for the premium customers.
Oh, yeah, save that for the paying customers. Yeah, excellent. Boonab was 21, apparently.
Someone has asked a little bit further back, is this the first black shirt since the Diodora one? Yes and no. So it'll be the first regular season shirt that we've worn since then. We did have a black keeper shirt in 11-12 that was issued to Ian Ormson, which I've got. which Landon and the club decided on. First season in the conference, not realising black and navy shirts aren't allowed at that level because refs always wear black. So they then quickly changed it to an orange one and a green one. And Landon's testimonial shirt in 2014 when we played Mac was all black as well.
So, yeah.
It was gold.
Parfit. Was it Parfit?
Yeah. We had an orange keeper shirt, which I've also got from that game. Number 21. Danny Hurst wore it. Don't know why it was number 21.
That's an upsetting number, isn't it? But no, Claire Jeffs has said the numbers in Spain. Apparently, the players said they were just random, which helps me breathe easy at night. No,
I mean, they were and they weren't, because Southam Hales was 2. Like a lot of them did. Crankshaw, I think, when he came on, had a number that you'd associate with Crankshaw.
Yeah, Tanto had 20 still. He was the only one in the starting 11 not to have a 1 to 11 number.
Yeah, it's funny that must mean something to him, in the same way that Proudlock was always 31 generally. I think he was 28 at Wednesday, but he was 31. And if you look at me dropping names in now, but like when I spoke to him, like he messaged me on WhatsApp, before I had his number, it came up as Proudy 31. So 31 must mean something to him. And Joe Lewis was 31 at Torquay, and he's 31 at County as well.
Yeah.
So there must be something, some kind of superstition or something attached to it.
It is a number that intrigues me a bit, 31, actually. That's one of the ones I use on Football Manager for like a youth player who's breaking through. I don't know why 31, but yeah. I'm more alarmed at the prospect of Kyle Noyle going into the season with number 3 on his shirt again. That's the sort of stuff that's going to. If he's going to be playing right wing back, right back, or right centre back, he can't.
Is it 2 or just a random number?
Yeah, 2, 12.
We don't have 12, do we?
No, it's the Blue and White Army, that, isn't it?
I like that.
I couldn't give a shit.
I think it's shit. Yeah, it's naff. I think the last number 12 we had was Ian Ormson in the conference.
It was, yes.
Squad number. We'd obviously, even 13 is traditionally a sub-keeper, but Ross and Jaros haven't taken 13. So whether Bobby Jones, I think, may have been 13.
Bobby Jones has been 13, yeah, this season, yeah.
I could talk squad numbers all night.
All right, well, before we wrap up then, because it's getting dangerously late, what is the Stockport County squad numbers mismatch that boils your piss the most? I know what mine is already.
Excuse me. I'll go with this one, but do you remember 05-06? Obviously, we stayed up against Carlisle. The run-in, Jim came in, replaced Turner. Everyone knows what happened. Signed a big centre half. Don't know where he came from. Maybe Carlisle. It wasn't Carlisle. Big Dave Baharrell, centre half.
Yes, yeah.
He was number 10. He was a centre half. He was number 10.
See, that chimes with mine then, because mine's John Hardiker wearing number 10. Although the goals against City, I can almost forgive it. Like first 2 goals. Yeah.
And then Matty McNeil, I know he was converted to a centre half, wasn't he? But he also had squad number 10. Because we bought him as a huge, very effective target man. Yeah. But then Jim used to play him at the back quite a lot, and he was number 10 as well.
See, it's a target man's not a number 10 for me. It's not as upsetting as some of the others, but a target man is number 10 now. That's your number 9, mate. Or a 19, as Kyle Wotton showed last season.
Maybe this has got the bones of an episode for the podcast, like the most mismatched.
I was hoping it would.
Quad number 11 of all time.
But, right, we're getting on that. That's going to be the second episode. That is, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but does Danny Lloyd wearing number 3 count? Because that was in the National League North when it was 1 to 11, and that was upsetting.
Yeah, we've had Adam Thomas at number 2. I know he's done that. Like Matty Warburton has worn pretty much every number we had. Everyone associates him with a 10, but he was an 11 at times. I think he was an 11 at Yeovil. So there we go. Do you want? I'm kind of have to extend my quiz now for when we do it. But do you want one of the questions just to kind of see where you are?
Yeah, go on. Nice little palate cleanser for the end of the evening.
Okay. Quite like this one. Which one to use? I've got a whole spreadsheet full of questions.
Oh, lovely stuff.
I'll give you 2 questions. See how you fare. True or false? Excluding penalty shootouts, Alan Armstrong never scored a penalty for us.
I think that's true.
So you don't think he scored a penalty for us?
I don't think he did. There's not a single one that I can picture. I can't picture a single one.
Incorrect. He scored one for us in a 5-1 win against Millwall, January 97. He scored at the Cheadland.
He did. I literally just watched that back like a week ago as well.
He did. Okay. And multiple choice. Which ex-player's middle name is Roosevelt? Is it James Spencer?
It's Lee Todd. I hope it's Lee Todd.
Is it James Spencer, AD Mike, Tess Bramble, Jason Lee, or Martin Nash?
Oh, see, Martin Nash, you've got the Canada-America thing. Oh, this is all. I'm going to go AD Mike, you know.
So you think it's AD Roosevelt Mike?
Yeah, he sounds like type of madcap fucker who'd have something like that going on.
Not James Spencer?
No, that's just silly.
With his pickup truck?
Yeah.
It is AD Mike.
Is it AD Mike?
I've got a whole round of those.
Oh, this is good. Oh, me and Si Lomas are going to have a whale of a time. Well, Si Lomas is.
I've got, I mean, I could sit here all night doing this, but I won't. So it's the kind of questions that you don't know the answer to, but you almost do, and you will doubt yourself on a lot of them when you're giving the answers. Like the Alan Armstrong one. It's like
that's my favourite.
Yeah.
I still can't believe I forgot about that Millwall game, having just watched it back as well. Fuming with myself. Well, there's more of that to come. There's more of this to come next week. We'll be back 8 o'clock next Wednesday with reaction to got the Altrincham game. Are you going to Altrincham Saturday?
Don't know. I've got 2 kids on my own, so do I just not bother and have an easy life, or do I take a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old to the game on my own? So, yeah. I mean, I say I will, but in reality, we'll probably just sit at home and watch Matilda again for like the 8th time.
Rain as well. Are you on the Bluey hype? Are you all over Bluey?
Never done Bluey. We've got here. We're big fans of Octonauts in this house, so we've got Dashi and Quasi here. What's Otis into? Spider-Man and the Paw Patrol film, not the series, just the film at the moment.
It's the film. It's a purist.
And Ada is into like these baking shows that are on Netflix, like where they bake. Like, are they cakes or are they things that look like cakes? So it's like,
I've seen that.
Like, she loves it.
That's addictive telly. That is. I saw it on Gogglebox and was hooked. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so I might just. Obviously, I won't do this for anyone listening, but I'll just leave them at home in front of the iPad. I'll go watch the game on my own. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah.
If people see you out and about at the game on Saturday now, you're gonna get
having a nap in the corner. They're fine.
Yeah. I'm contemplating Chester Tuesday night as well, which is
not doing that.
I'm done with Chester.
Been there multiple times. I think I'm in Leeds anyway for work next week, so I'm not driving from Leeds to Chester to go back to Leeds. And who forgot? I mean, it's that weird Huddersfield like 3-day game on the Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah. That's covered up, and then it's there's something at Stockport Town. I don't know if it's this weekend, but I think it's this Saturday. But it'll be just youth players, you'd imagine.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I've been to a home pre-season game I've not been to any pre-season game other than Spain and Ultra in about 20 years. I don't tend to not bother with them. Find them a bit dull. So
yeah, I went to the Man City one. Was it 2009, maybe?
2008.
Santa Cruz played in De Jong.
Oh no, that was 2012. That was.
It must have been 2012, and that must have been
Danny Hattersley and John Nolan and everyone played for us.
Right, I remember. Oh no, it mustn't have been then.
We played them when we just got promoted to League One under Jim in summer 2008, and they had a black and red shirt on, and it was a few weeks before the money arrived, and they had a Bulgarian lad playing for them, Not
Rodginov.
Petrov.
That's the one I went to. Yeah. Yeah.
That's him. And they were all saying that he was like the new whoever, like Kinkladze or someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And that was just after we'd been promoted. And then we played them in 2012, but it was a City 11. But it was De Jong and Santa Cruz played, and then a load of kids with squad numbers of like 96 and 84 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And still beat them.
Yeah. I must have gone to both of them then. And then I went to the Fleetwood one. Was it last season or season before? But we had to leave after like 20 minutes because my nephew hated it. He was far too young for it. And that's the story of my pre-seasons.
Yeah. No, I couldn't even tell you I think the last Edgeley Park pre-season I went to was probably like Blackburn in 2004. We wore the yellow away kit. I can't remember going to. Oh no, Cardiff when Danny died. I
was in Canada when that happened. I was gutted to miss that one. Yeah,
I think that was probably the last home pre-season game I went to. And other than Ulti, because it's 5 minutes away, don't really bother with away games unless they're in. I only go if I can fly to them, Nick. Only go if I can.
Fair enough. An approach we can all learn a lot from. Right, thank you for joining me, Ben. It's much appreciated. Thank you you to Waggy as well for briefly stepping into Rusty's shoes before finding that they were full of piss and slipping them off and doing something infinitely better with his evening. So we'll be back next week from 8, myself and Russ and guest. And that just about it's been a long show tonight, considering God knows what it's going to be like when the season starts. Right, ta-ra, everyone.
Now.
You are?
About 3 listeners left. 3 people tuned in.
It stayed quite high. I'm alarmed by it. I kind of want to go all Stuart Lee and be like, this is what you like. But
because of all this compelling back and forth that we've been having, isn't it, Nick?
It's just the witty repartee. This is what you get. And these people haven't paid any money for it either, so we should stop wasting it on them.
Freeloaders. Yeah.
Save it for the £3 a month crew, not the tight-fisted cock munchers, as Russ calls them. Right, bye everyone.
Cheers.
This episode of the Scarf Bagara War was written, recorded and produced by Russ Johnson and Nick Lee. The music on the opening titles was produced by Dan Johnson. Subscribe wherever you get your content, as well as finding out how to join the TSBW fan club. Check out the links in the description or go to allthews scarfbagarawar.co.uk.